Do not underestimate your willingness and your ability to listen. That's the message of today. Don't take your listening skills for granted, fellow introvert, and don't underestimate the power that they can hold in someone else's life, particularly somebody you care about. One of the very first things I remember learning back when I went to do my master's degree in counseling back in 1994, and I honestly don't remember which instructor this was, but one of the very first things we learned in one of the very first classes that I had was that just listening is powerful therapy on its own. It's powerful counseling on its own. And I had never thought of it that way. I was ready to go to class, prepared to learn about lots of theories and lots of techniques and lots of strategies for helping people, which we ultimately did, of course. That's the whole point of graduate school and a counseling program. But the very first thing that was pointed out to us was that just listening, I hate to use the word just with that even, but mere listening on its own holds tremendous power in people's lives and for people's well-being. Why? Because let's face it, we don't live in much of a listening world, especially these days. There's shitloads of talking, there's lots of bellicose behavior, there's lots of banter, there's lots of screaming, there's lots of shouting. Boy, there's precious little listening. Isn't that the case? There's not much listening. And so if you as an introvert are one of the many introverts who find that listening just comes naturally to you, it's just something you do. It's not even something you're actively trying to do. You just listen in general. You listen to people, you take things in, you take in information, you observe, you can sense people's feelings, all these things. Well, all of those things are powerful. All of those things are helpful to people, even if you don't think they're helpful at all. How many times have you in your life just sat and listened to somebody who, when it was over, you figured out, man, that's all they really needed. They just needed to be heard. So many of us just need to be heard at certain times of our life. And you as an introvert, when you're willing and able to listen to somebody, can give that gift freely to them, almost without even thinking about it. My point being, don't underestimate that. Don't take that for granted. That is a hugely powerful thing that you have in your quiver of arrows of life. Your willingness, your ability to just sit and listen. And I get it. Sometimes you're sitting there and you're thinking, I'm not doing anything here. I'm not helping this person. I don't have the solution to their deep, huge problem. Maybe somebody died in their life. Maybe whatever it is, you don't have the cure. You don't have the solution. And what we tend to forget is that so often the people we're talking to really don't expect or seek that from us. That's not on us to give them. It's not on us to really give them anything. But what we end up giving them, simply by just hearing them out, quietly sitting there and listening, without offering answers, pat answers, free advice, all the rest, we're literally, quote unquote, just sitting there. Do not underestimate that. Do not ever underestimate the power of that and how appreciated that is by people in your life. And you've got that very likely as a natural gift of one of your many gifts when you're an introvert. And man, does it show up, does it stand out in a world we live in today, where, as I said, there's a lot of talking, maybe far too much talking, and way, 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 way too little listening. So I hope that gives you some food for thought for today. When you're going about your daily life and you're just sometimes sitting listening, thinking to yourself, I'm not really doing or accomplishing anything, I beg to differ. You may be accomplishing and doing more than you could possibly imagine just by sitting there and listening and demonstrating that you truly give a shit about somebody who's right in front of your face. So I hope that helps today. Thanks again, as always, for watching this video and all the other ones I produce. If you like these, by the way, if you find these videos helpful, I would really be grateful if you took a few seconds to share them with people in your life or on your social media channels. You can also subscribe to these videos on both YouTube and on Instagram by just following the subscribe buttons. So thanks again for watching today's video. It's becoming fall here in northern Minnesota, as you can maybe see around me. We're getting just a little bit of the leaf change and just a little bit of that cold snap that represents my favorite time of the year. All 2 weeks of it here in northern Minnesota. Hope you're having a great day, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.